Happy New Year, guys, and welcome to Scorched Earth Tarot. I'm going to do something a little different to usual, and it's only for this round of readings, so bear with me. And I'm recording this as an intro to all of the videos that I'm doing for the beginning of January. If this isn't your bag and you want to skip straight to the reading, have a look at the timestamp in the comment box down there. And the chances are, if you need to skip ahead to the reading without listening to what I had to say, then you're probably not the people that this is addressed to anyway. So it's fine. No shade, and I'm not even slightly offended. You know, you do you. It's all cool. But I have a few things that I wanted to say, and I kind of feel quite strongly that I do need to say this. The first off, I want to express extreme gratitude for waiting for me, because I know that these readings are late, and I'm very grateful to you for that. But also just for being here and joining me. The last 6 months have been a bit of a wild ride, and my life has changed in quite a lot of ways, and you guys are definitely part of that, and I don't think that you quite have any idea how much you've changed my life, so I love it. The reason the videos are late is because Christmas holiday was quite enlightening for me in a lot of ways, as well as the usual stresses and pressures of, you know, the holiday season and whatnot, and having, you know, 5 children, and trying to make special that time, as special as possible that time. I also had some fairly extreme kind of planetary stuff going on, which I wasn't really aware of until it was brought to my attention, and I was quite oblivious to the effects of right up until about, I don't know, the turn of the year. And then it all hit me in kind of like 48 hours. So Peter, if you are watching, all the stuff that you told me suddenly made all sorts of sense. It was kind of an ascension of sorts, and I was panicking a little bit about getting the videos uploaded and all that kind of thing. And then it struck me that what I actually really needed to do was rest and kind of recover from the transformations that had been occurring. So I took time to do that, and I'm sorry if these videos being late negatively affects anyone, but I feel like you will probably understand. So thank you. What else do I have to tell you? I think that's probably just about everything. But I wanted to just record the intro and say, you know, thank you so much for waiting, for subscribing, for watching, for your donations, for your personal reading bookings. And I kind of got slammed with those over Christmas as well. It was a period of about a week where I was getting 15, 20 requests a day, and I am going to work my way through all of those. But with everything else that was going on, it was a little bit overwhelming, and I really needed to retreat. So that's what I've done. But I'm back, and I'm so excited for 2020, I can't even tell you. So yeah, thank you very, very much. I'm extremely grateful for all of you. That's what I was going to say. When you're recording videos and you're saying the same thing over and over again, it starts to feel less authentic, to me anyway. So knowing that I had 12 videos to do, and that I wanted to kind of express this to you all, I wanted to do it once in the spirit that I feel it, without it just becoming a kind of repetitive thing that I'm saying over and over again and starts to lose its feeling over time. So that's what I've done, and it'll only be for this month. Next month it'll be back to usual blather. Yeah, on with your reading. Hi guys, welcome to Scorched Earth Tarot. This is going to be a reading for Aries. I almost said Scorpio. If you're dealing with a Scorpio, maybe go and have a look at that reading. This is Aries, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. Just give these a quick shuffle, and then we'll get on with the reading. Hope you're all well. I'm magnificent because the postie's just been and brought me a new deck of tarot cards. I'm very, very excited about it. They're staying in the box for now though, because I'm probably going to do a video on them because they're from Kickstarter. Pretty awesome. I've been excited for months. Anyway. Oh, let's go. Can I have 3 cards for Aries, please? For the month of January. Oh. First card is the Hermit. It's the card of Virgo in the Major Arcana. Earth energy. Card for Aries, please. I'm on flew out. Got the Chariot, which is a card of Cancer, water energy. I like it. It's a very strong presentation for you, Aries. One more card. And there it is. It's the Horned One, or the Devil, as it is in standard decks. Interesting. You are the first reading that I've done for 2020, where all of the cards are Major Arcana. Interesting. Pivotal month for you then. I'm going to clarify with the Marigold tarot that my son bought me for Christmas because it's absolutely exquisite. Not only is it black and deal with life and death, as it says on the box, but like I've been getting the most incredible readings out of this deck. Son did good. I like it. So it seems entirely appropriate that I would use this for you. So, why is the Hermit here for Aries, please? Why is the Hermit here for Aries? January. First card we've got is the Three of Wands. Interesting. I like it. Why is the Hermit here? Not taking all of those, that's ridiculous. 5 of Swords, King of Cups, Page of Swords, 6 of Rings, 4 of Rings. Yeah, I'm not taking those. I'll shuffle them back in. And we'll try again. Why is the Hermit here, please? 9 of Rings, which is the 9 of Pentacles. Ooh, I like this already. Where's the Chariot here, please? Aries. Chariot here for Aries. The Three of Swords. I'm not concerned about that though. Why is the Chariot here? And the Two of Swords. Okay. Why is the Horned One here for Aries? Got the Chariot again. Nice. And the King of Rings, which is the King of Pentacles in a standard deck. What a bafflingly cool read. At the bottom of this deck, we've got the Two of Wands. It's fire energy. And in fact, the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands, which have both come up, are the only 2 cards that have any fire energy in them at all for you this month. So, the Hermit. Now, so it has been the card of Virgo in the Major Arcana. It's a card that talks about finding the stillness. Yeah. There's an active element to the card. It's not like the Hanged Man, where you know the dominating force in that card is passivity. You know, staying still, literally staying completely mentally still, emotionally still. In some cases, perhaps even physically still, in order to discover the wisdom. The Hermit's moving, right, and he's got his torch up there, flaming bright, and he's headed off into the dark, and wrapped around some sticks at his feet, we've got a snake. No, I love snakes. I know some people interpret them as snaky behaviour and stuff like that, but I never ever see the snake that way for me in my readings, because I consider the snake to be wisdom, right? Knowledge, important things. The snake was a venerated symbol in ancient times of those things, and I feel like the meanings have got corrupted over centuries and thousands of years, and now it's something that people recoil from. But you've got your flaming torch, you've got a mission, because he's definitely looking for something, and you've got a snake as a companion, right? You've got a certain level of knowledge, a certain level of wisdom that is enabling you to go off and find the answers that you need. Now, inherent within this card is also the notion that this is a metaphor, and the answers that you require are within you. But you need to find the stillness within you to go looking, for these answers. And I think you found them, because the two cards that we've got to clarify are the Three of Wands and the Nine of Rings. Now, the Three of Wands for me is a card of expansion, right? It's just the Two of Wands is kind of like a crossroads. It's where you assess everything and you decide which way your passion is going to take you. When you start executing that idea or that passion, or, that sense into the 3D, into the world, we get to the 3, and here we are. Putting your ducks in a row, is what I've just heard. You've been putting your ducks in a row, your internal ducks, as it were. And not only have you done that, but what's implied by that is that there's a level of self-awareness going on to know that there were ducks in the first place. You've gone on a bit of a journey, you've found those ducks, and you have aligned them. This card can talk about travel, and it can talk about all of those sorts of things, but I don't read this deck that way. Not with the stock key phrases that that all tarot readers have a database of in their head. I'm looking at the imagery, I'm looking at the symbolism. And there's a beautiful symmetry in this card. And I can see a home, I can see a house. So maybe this has had something to do with changing location, changing where you live. Maybe, because that's quite possible. But maybe it's your internal sense of what home is, right? Because the next card that you've got is the Nine of Rings, right? And that's the card of self-sufficiency, it's the card of independence, it's the card of knowing exactly, what you are and what you're about. And that you are all things to yourself. You don't need to look outside of your experience to be able to, look after yourself. This feels like a knowing. It feels like a moment of self-realization that you've had, because this is in the kind of past-ish, recent past kind of position as I read them. Because that one ring there, that one pentacle, as it were, is the one where the flower head resides, right? And so I'm getting feelings of self-worth, I'm getting feelings of understanding yourself and what you are, it's giving the rose to yourself. But it's interlinked, and this symmetry on this card as well is beautiful. There's balance, and these rings are all connected on both sides. I love it. I've got such a peaceful energy of you while I've been meditating on your sign before I started the reading. when I did Scorpios, I was kind of almost bowled over by the intensity of what I was feeling right there. But you're very calm, very balanced, very self-assured. And I really like that. Like, there's been some internal work gone on with you, whether that's happened, you know, over the holiday period or whether it's been something you've been working on for a few months. It's coming through really strongly, so fucking well done you. The card that we've got in the present is the Chariot. Okay. And so it's the card of Cancer, but somewhat contradictorily, that's not even fucking a word, I'm just making words up now. It's somewhat juxtaposed with Cancer as a sign and the energy that Cancer brings, that this card would talk about self-determination and self-governance, self-discipline, self. And Cancer is very, you know, loving, expansive, and kind of almost to a detriment of themselves. But nevertheless, this is a card of moving forward victoriously, right? Now, in this deck particularly, which is the Llewellyn, there is water, right? I don't remember seeing water on any other depiction of the Chariot card. And it's got these two beasts here, and no reins, right? This dude, this charioteer, which is you, is driving this chariot forwards and going in a direction very strongly, without reins. He's using only the power of his mind. And these horses are so in the water that they appear to be almost made of the water, like that one on the side at least, you know. So this is a harnessing of emotion. Yeah. This is a self-control. It's not allowing your emotions to govern where you go and how you go. It's all about keeping everything balanced. We're back to duality, you know. The beautiful symmetry on these two cards. The duality, the balance, the holding two things and being able to move forwards in a direction with them. And the two cards that you got to clarify underneath with the Three of Swords and the Two of Swords. Now, the meaning of the Three of Swords is quite clear. Three swords bearing a heart. So it can talk about third-party situations which don't necessarily involve other people, you know. This can be, well, you know, another woman or another man. It can be a well-meaning family member or a not-so-well-meaning family member who sticks their all into your relationship. You know, it's any situation where there is third-party interference. There is three when there should be two, and that can be work. You know, that can be somebody's social life. Take it as it resonates to you. But it's a very visceral scene of a heart being speared by three swords. Three people's input. Right? They're razor sharp. This is a painful card. But it's come out directly underneath a card that talks of self. So it makes me feel like you've experienced some great pain of whatever description, whether that's a third party or not. You know, it's great pain. Stuff that makes your heart hurt. And you've taken that and you've learned the lessons from it. And you've become about the self, not in a negative way, not in a selfish way, but in a self-care, self-love, you know, sort of way. You cannot fill from an empty cup and all that, you know. It's been a tremendous learning experience for you, and you've leveled up. Not only that, you're now able to move forwards in a direction very strongly that you didn't feel like you could do before, for whatever reason. And then that brings us to the Two of Swords, which is about making a choice. Right? It's having two options that appear to have equal validity because these swords are identical, and needing to choose a direction. And we've got the Two of Wands. You know, look at the symmetry in the shapes that are being made by those. You know, this is growing off on different paths. But this is an intellectual decision that you need to make. I'm going to pull another couple of cards for that, because I'm interested. But it seems like you've channeled whatever it was that speared your heart, whatever pain was caused there. You found a way of harnessing it, and you've gone within and you've learned some lessons. And now you are ready to move forward. The Two of Swords suggests to me that you're not quite sure which direction to go in yet, but you are very close indeed. You know, I'm drawn to the fact that there's a moon on here, and I know there's a moon on all of the Two of Swords cards, but the first thing that I thought of when I saw it was the moon card, which is the card of Cancer. You know, I've got, and that's about things that are hidden. It's about your subconscious. It's about all of those things. I feel like you're bringing those things up, those things that have been hidden, those deep within you, are now starting to come to the surface. And the Two of Swords is here to allow you to make some sort of conscious decision about what it is that you've discovered about yourself. Where's the Two of Swords here, please? This is the John Bauer deck, by the way. I absolutely love it. Six of Wands. Wow. Where's the Two of Swords here, please? Oh my God. Just one. None of those jumped, and usually that means we need to talk about this card more. And it's the Six of Wands, right? In this reading, in your reading here, in a way that I've never done before, what I feel driven to tell you is that you might be stuck at a crossroads trying to decide intellectually which way to go. But actually these two swords do have equal validity. Whichever path you choose, you will be successful. That's the message that's coming on here. So, more than that, don't dwell upon it. Pick one. Go. Just go. At this point in time, you are holding yourself back by refusing to make that decision. Whichever way you go, whichever path you choose, you will be right. You know? Because you're guiding yourself now. What's coming up for you is the horned one, right? And I love the depiction here. Like, I'm not mad keen on the devil card as a thing. In standard decks, like the Christian overtones are a little bit too much for me. I kind of reject it. I don't like that. For me, though, in this deck, this card talks more about our wild side, you know, and we're back to the moon. We're back to the two wolves, you know, one tame dog, one wild wolf, and the duality, the balancing of all of these twos that are coming up here, right? For me, this card doesn't have the usual implications that you get from the devil card. This is about letting something rip for you. It's like letting something out that perhaps you have been pushing down a little bit too much. Like, and I'm not talking about, you know, going off on a week of hedonism or anything like that, you know, sex, drugs and rock and roll. That's not what I'm saying. I feel like that you felt tethered, right? The fact that we've got this here, when we're talking about self-determination, we're talking about you choosing your route to go, makes me feel like there have been circumstances or situations or people that have been holding you back, and it's time to let your inner wild side rip a little bit. Yeah. Because we've got the Chariot and the Knight of Rings. Now, this is the Knight of Pentacles in the standard deck. This is the second time the Chariot's come out. It's the second time we're talking about self-determination and self-control and self-governance. You know, deciding which way that you're going to go. I mean, unusually this figure here is on a bike, right? And I feel like the message is, it doesn't matter which direction you go in. It doesn't matter which way you go. It doesn't even matter what method of transport you use. Bicycle's going to be slower than a chariot pulled by horses, but it's still moving in a direction. Like, get on your bike, fucking pedal, go to the woods, maybe. I don't know, like, you know, take it as it resonates to you. But whatever you've been tethering down, or whatever has been tethered down by external forces to you, be it people, places, things, whatever, you know, it's time to let it go, because you can trust yourself to keep it balanced. And you need to start moving, right? Slowly, potentially, yes. But moving slowly in a direction that is of your choosing is better than standing still, and that's where you are at the moment. You know, he's not the flashiest knight in the deck. He's not even your knight. But he is methodical. Of all of the ones, you know, of all of the knights that are available to you to choose from, this is the one that will get you there in the end. He's slow, he's methodical, but he understands the value of what it is he's transporting. And what's being transported is you. Your right to choose. You know, your right to dictate how your life pans out. And the shadow card at the bottom of the deck here is the Magician. You've got all of the tools at your disposal. You are now very powerful. But you need to trust it, right? Trust your gut. Trust your direction. Trust your higher self guiding you forwards to where you need to go. Because you're not going to get it wrong. You're just not going to get it wrong. Oh, I love it so much. I really do. This is wonderful. Aries, I'm going to leave it there. But I'd love it if you let me know if this resonated with you in any way. And I'll be back in a week or so for the mid-months, because I've got my shit together now. But yeah, just trust your gut and go. All right, take care.